We are live. Let's see. Oh, look at that. D-Man's already here. Let's do it. Cool. Already have somebody. And so I don't know if you guys can tell on the chat thing. I don't know if you have the chat box thing, but like I don't know if it does the same thing for you guys, but like it shows like a little icon for each person where they're coming from, what platform. I don't know if it does that for you or not.
Yes, it does for me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sweet. Yeah, we already got a couple people in here. It's starting to go get higher. People are joining.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Awesome. I love Tabby 11 so much. Okay. Oh, hi. How you doing? Welcome. Very cool. So how you guys doing, man?
Go ahead, Eric.
How you feeling with the energy? Or Eric, I think you were.
I was just gonna say it's been a long day, so long week. Yeah, we're looking at moving. My wife is like in between jobs, so like she technically her old job ended, and so now she's got another one lined up at the beginning of March. But in between all that, we're looking to move. So Wednesday we looked at like 5 different apartments, and now we're trying to hear back from the one we liked. So it's just a lot with that, and then also planning a trip to New York in May, and just lots of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that I'm starting to see more and more of what me and Victor were talking about prior to coming on with the energies and the shifts, and I'm getting a lot of channeled messages around, what's happening and how we're being forced to get back into alignment, and I just want to hit on that because I think that touches on what Victor was talking about a little bit. Like they've been showing me is like the energies, and it's like, for example, like this podcast, and if all 3 of us aren't feeling in alignment with each other, we're just doing it and we don't like it, but we're doing it. And, that's kind of the energies, like where we're leading towards, like feeling in our bodies what it feels like, how it feels, and then doing what aligns with us, doing what lights us up, doing what excites us. Like if Victor continued to do these meditations 7 days a week and he hated it, and and he's out of alignment with it, you know what I mean? That's what they were kind of showing me, like going to a job you don't like, or being in a relationship that's not in alignment with you. That's what they've been saying a lot about, like how it's going to be going forward, where we're going to be kind of forced to choose what's in alignment with our souls, and
that's actually
very challenging,
That's very apropos. I'm gonna kind of interject something here real quick, because many people I know, and I experienced it this week, is kind of a feeling, what I call it. I woke up with the why bother, with the why bother energy, and I didn't really feel as though it was a spiritual attack so much as all right, here it comes. You follow me? It's that. And I had other friends experience this, and I found out even just this earlier today, another one of my friends was experiencing that why bother energy. You wake up and you're just like, am I on the right path? Am I this? And am I that? It's not so bad for me because I have constant, every 12 hours, I have constant reinforcement, you see? So I'm doing what I love. And, I got to where I am because of constant meditation and asking those questions. So anyone out there listening, and even to you guys, if you don't know, I think from what I know, Darren, I know more about your work than I do Eric's, but you guys, you ask yourselves those questions of like, where am I going, and is it the right path? And I got to where I am today by asking those questions and having those experiences and letting the information flow to me. So yeah, it's very important. But did either one of you notice any of that why bother stuff over the last couple of days? It's almost like, man, am I doing the right stuff? And, am I being called? And it's very interesting that you didn't even know I was going to talk about this, Darren, and you bring it up. I love that. I freaking love that.
Yeah. I mean, cause it's like, it's been coming up a lot with the Divine Council 9 that I channel. And when I do, like, I'm doing these videos now, bro. I mean, listen, man, I love this. I love content creating, man. It's like, and I know that also, which was, I'm not going to speak on it too much, Eric, because I know, unless you want to.
Good.
No, but I was going to say, like, what you brought up was so powerful from those sessions, and what you said about, like, service to self versus service to
Oh
others.
yeah.
And that hit so hard for me because I know a lot of us have been doing that in other lifetimes, like service to self, and now now a lot of us are at a point where we're wanting to serve others, and that's why we're here, and that I'm getting chills, man, because it like hit so hard. And
Are they multiplying?
Are they what?
Never mind. Are they multiplying? That's from Greece. I've got chills.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's like, but yeah, getting back to like even 10 years ago or more than 10 years ago, back in like 2001, when I was working jobs and clocking in 9 to 5 and hated it, and and said to myself the other day, I would never do that again. Like, do something or be in something, or that's not that I'm not happy at doing, or feeling like I'm stuck or trapped. And I feel like we're heading in a different direction, where we feel like we can choose and have choice,
And look at that, Darren, to your point. Look at how difficult the system makes it if you decide to step out of it. You step out of that 9 to 5, you step out of this, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
we basically are born into debt in this country. And if you decide to not work, whatever comes your way, then guess what? You're going to be hungry. You're going to be living outside. You're going to be, and so it's designed to keep us in
Consumer.
this. Consume, pay taxes, consume.
Yeah.
And I love that so much of this stuff is falling down, but right in front of us. And some people look at it like, oh, we have a king now and this and that. But I look a little bit deeper. All right. Other than that's like surfacey stuff. Oh, well, they're taking it away. They're kind of like getting punched in the arm and saying, oh, well, yeah, that hurts. And I don't like that Cheeto guy and this and that. But what they're not doing is it's kind of myopic, because they don't look past that and say, oh, well, what's the big picture here? So many, just all these government agencies funding all this money to people that hate us. And here we are getting by, scratching by in our country. All right. Many of us are. You guys might not be, but it's tight all the way around. I know many people that are tight.
Oh yeah.
And just like to you're getting ready to move, Eric. So it's like, you have to weigh that. That's one of the things you weigh. And I think that's being revealed right now. And as each one of these organizations shut down, think about the vibration it's going to bring. Like you mentioned the list earlier. If that list comes out, yeah, it's going to be. I mentioned this 2 nights ago on Truthwave. I said something about, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable at first and a little bit low vibe, but think about what's going to come out at each time one of these rings is shut down. That's raising the vibration of the planet, man. It's great, good stuff once it's discovered and put out there, because the truth sets us free. It's straight up.
You want to add anything, Eric?
No, yeah, I guess back to the original question, like that's been my last, like, since last August, of like just like I've been between jobs now since last June, when we made the move out to Chicago now. That's been trying to figure out like what I want to do, like and I've been lucky enough where like I've had the like capability and freedom to do all like that inner work, all that searching and all that, to see like and experiment to see what I would like to do, or like what feels right. And it's just been it's just felt like a constant battle of just like treading water every now and then, and it's like the for me it's been like I have a really cool idea, let's pursue that. And then it's like it's just felt like a constant like I can't think of the words, but like the time I've finished one thing, then it's like, oh no, we were just having you do this so that you could do this now. And it's like, okay, I guess I'll get into this now. And then it's been like one thing after the other. So now I'm kind of, I guess, going back to what I was looking at doing. Gosh, this must have been like 2 years ago now. But like 2 years ago, I looked at starting and setting up like an actual like channeling and like Reiki kind of like business where like I would have people like book sessions and like they would like tune in for an hour for like whatever channeling or Reiki session for that. And I realized like after a certain point I wasn't really ready for that. And now I'm kind of after 2 years going back to that now that I've gone through all of this development and I'm at a very different place. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of what a lot of us are going through. Follow the energy and the light of whatever we're doing. And if there's energy behind it, and if like, oh well, this book I want to write, I start writing it, and then the energy just dissipates. But then like that doesn't mean it's the end of it. I feel like that's what we're starting to do. That's another thing that I got this morning. How most of us have been suppressed, and numbed out and distracted from how we feel and our feelings, and especially men. And not to say women haven't either, but men, it's a big thing about with your emotions and everything, And I feel like now we're beginning to notice more and more. We're becoming more multidimensional and feeling beings like we're supposed to be, and we're feeling into how this feels and how it does, and oh, this feels good and it doesn't feel good. No, I'm not going to hang out with these people. No, like that's what I kind of feel like we're leading. It's going to be more and more like where these roads we're going to have to choose, go down this road or this road, or it's going to be the split. And yeah, I can definitely resonate with what you're saying, Eric, and you too, Victor. And
Well, earlier this at my sunrise session, I spoke about it, and we have many of our community here right now, and we spoke about now more than ever with all this truth coming out. There's so much of it, and even within our spiritual community, people are falling by the wayside because some people get to a certain level and they don't do. I saw something a week and a half ago, and it's talking about people skipping the 40, skipping the lessons part, and wanting to get into that 5D. And I don't blame them, but it's really important to do the work, do that shadow work, do those things, look deep inside yourself, because if you don't, then you're going to end up in a situation where you may not quite be ready. You may not be ready for what comes at you. So I just tell everybody, use your energetic intuition. That's what we develop on my channel, is using that and understanding energy and understanding what you're feeling from people, because it's so important right now, because it's all about the truth. When people operate in their authenticity, you freaking know it, you feel it. And it's now more than ever, my friends, it's important right now, because so many things are changing, and it's not that you're going to get hurt or punched in the face or something like that. It's going to be that it's alignment. It comes down to comes down to alignment of goals. You see, it comes down to alignment of your spirit, of the things that make you feel wonderful, that get you on that right path and keep you there.
Yeah. I mean, that's like spot on. Like leading up to spring, all I've been getting and hearing, not only from what I channel and from what I hear from a lot of other people, and it's very similar, is we're going to be completely different. After spring, we're not even going to recognize ourselves. The changes are happening so fast, and these things like you're talking about, the dominoes are falling, and listen, when that guy read some of the people on the list, I was just like, okay, but I know a lot of people are going to have difficulty with it because of how they've, idolized different individuals, and, and all these kind of things. And, and along with everything else, like anything that you're attaching to, any kind of construct that we're, have some sort of attachment to, it's suffering, so being sure that you're in alignment, like you said, asking, and like we all do. All of us are pretty tapped in, all three of us anyway. That's for sure.
Well, back to your. I want to go back to we were talking about men and women, and I think a lot of spirituality that's coming, this wave, it, it's really interesting because the women are the powerhouse behind it. They're the nurturing power. I know every woman in my life has such an impact on me. Even in my show, it's, we always bring something to one another. That's the thing. I bring something to them, and everyone, all of my community brings something to me. And it's it's beautiful in the sense that, in a way, the women are teaching us. They're helping us and they're guiding us to fulfill our roles. And and I like to look at it as Mother Gaia is doing her work, because, and yeah, we both have our parts in this, but really it comes down to the women that help. They're helping mold us in a sense. At least that's the way I see it. They're helping mold us and supporting us in a myriad of ways to help us step into that role that we need to be in. And it's beautiful when you start looking at, hey, oh my God, men and women are working together for a common goal. And it's I can't help but see the beauty in that.
How do you guys feel about things coming together? Like, what I always speak of, like, unity and oneness and connection and community, and how do you guys feel about that, as far as where we're at and how far we need to go to achieve that, if that makes sense.
I'm sorry, ask me that question one more. I didn't quite get that.
I just have had these visions of, like, community and oneness and unity and coming together, and yet the way that the systems are in place currently, I definitely don't feel like they're designed for that. It's more designed for, like, separation and divide.
Oh, sure.
And how long do you guys think, and what would it take to achieve that? We're at the current state we're in.
Eric, do you want to go ahead? I have something to say, but I'll go ahead and go. I'll take this. I think it is far closer. I think what we're doing right now is taking enormous leaps. We're leaping and leaping because people are hungry. People are hungry. People are tired of being divided and being put in little groups. Look at our spiritual community. 3 years ago, you think I would be talking to you guys? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Think about all the different modalities coming together right now. And I've got the whole gambit, in the community I'm part of at Truthwave. We've got channelers, we've got card readers, we've got all this esoteric knowledge, we've got freaking energy workers, Reiki masters, whole 9 yards, but we're all coming together right now and we're really helping one another. We have this flow of people that come through, and it starts at 6:20 in the morning and goes some days all the way until noon. And so we're keeping that constant vibration out there. And I think that vibration, people are realizing that they're missing something in their life, that money is nice as a comfort, but money can't buy your happiness. We know that. It can get you pretty dang close sometimes, but really what it comes down to is money is not the answer. It's each other. We are the answer to one another, because that's what fulfills us. What is one of the most valuable things we have in our lives? Our relationships.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's like, who just wrote that? Did Chloe just write that in chat, talking about she was a massage therapist? Who was it? No, it was Heaney. Yeah. And she got some guidance from Sonia. What's her name? Sonia Croquet. Well, I've followed Sonia actually, but she's talking about being a massage therapist. And how many of us have known massage therapists that get into it for the healing aspect of it, but then end up disliking it? And a lot of that comes down, think about it, you're sitting there rubbing your hands all over that energy. And how many conversations have I had? At least 3 with massage therapists. Oh, and people that cut hair. There you go. That's another one. I literally have I'm going to share something with you. Back when I was cutting my hair on a regular basis, obviously I don't do that very often anymore, but I was, my cuttist at the time was talking to me and she's like, "Oh God, I'm just drained every day." And I was like, "Oh, there's now I'm going to talk about energy." And I was like, "Well, think about it." And I gave her a real simple, we use this at Truthwave every time we gather. I gave her a real simple mantra. And at the time I was not in a very good relationship. And I gave her the mantra. And literally by the time I got out halfway to my truck, that person, so in other words, I said, "Archangel Michael, please put a sphere of love and light around us." I was teaching it to her. And just by invoking it to her, it blocked out the person that my toxic person, because I got halfway out to my vehicle and my phone's getting blown up. "Hey, what's going on? I just felt something. Are you okay? Blah, 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 blah." And I turned on my heel, walked right back in there and showed the hairstylist, my friend. I said, "Look, that just happened just by me sharing those words with you." So it's very powerful every time. See, we have no idea. We had no idea how much we can impact somebody. There could be someone right now in our chat having this amazing experience just by the things we've touched on.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. Love it.
Yeah, and like to Eric's point about Reiki, I literally am starting to see, well, 2 yoga studios that are right down the street from me are offering Reiki now. And I never seen that before. You know what I'm saying? Like there was, when I got my Reiki master years ago, and when I moved here, there was like one person maybe doing like Reiki in the area. And now the place I'm going to go to do the sound bath, they have a Reiki person there. The other hot yoga studio I was going to last year, they have one that I saw. I'm like, man, all this, like these different modalities that, I mean, my dad told me in the 90s, he was in, I don't know if you guys remember, like a bookstore, Borders.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, there was one in Florida where I was at, and my dad said he went in there, and it was like this was in the 80s or something, or the 90s, okay? He said he walked in there. I'm like, really? Like, I was living there. I don't remember that. He said he went in there, and it was like what you just said, Victor, the massage people that charge you like $1 a minute or something like that, and they're in the supermarkets, and then it's just like they're just doing your neck and shoulders or whatever. Apparently he went in there in the 80s or 90s and somebody was doing Reiki, and I was like, what? I never seen that. And then yeah, I mean, so it's like it's interesting what's starting to happen, more and more people are getting away from like big pharma, and
see, look at that. Look at the way you say that. Just so, and we're getting conditioned, and that's sad. We are conditioned to not say what I use on what I say last night, unalived, talking about Gene Hackman. Yeah. And it's just because I learn it from listening to other people on YouTube and watching our language, and that in a sense is not walking in our truth, you see.
No,
because it's not. But we don't want to get our stream shut down and things like that, because if that happens, then we don't get to get our message out.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree. And it's like, it's so interesting and strange to me, because it's like, it's really, I mean, I was trying to break this down, with Mr. T that's currently in office, and how he's speaking his truth, and he doesn't care what anybody thinks or says. He's going to say how he feels and what he feels, and no matter what the outcome is of it, right? Mm-hmm. And I started to think to myself, this is what where humanity's headed, like in self-empowerment, standing in your truth, being your authentic self, speaking your truth. So now we put somebody in place that is literally reflecting back what we're asking for and have been for so long. Like from a spiritual standpoint,
Well, think about this, guys. I'm sorry, did I cut you off, Eric?
No, I was just agreeing.
Okay, think about this. When you're in your authenticity, so if all of us connected energetically right now, and I told you, this is just an example, and I told you, Darren, hey, I'm getting some information about you. Do you want to continue? I'm getting some personal information. Think about this. That I'm aware enough to know if I'm getting into the personal information. Okay. And so I just give you that. I give you that. I'm being polite about it. But one of these days, we'll never have to say that, because when you're working at that vibrational frequency where you don't have to hide anything because the other people are not going to freaking use it against you. That's the thing, is we're all going to have those things. You follow me? So when we all expose all of we're living in that authentic moment, guess what?
Cool.
You don't have to hide anything, because who that sees it is going to use it against you. And I think it's a wonderful way to look at the future. Because think about it. You won't have to hide anything, because there won't be anything worthy of hiding. And because if I see your dirt, well, you're going to see my dirt, and I'm going to see Eric's dirt. He's going to see my dirt. And the thing is, but you know what? I'm going to see it and I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, he's human. I'm not going to have any judgment on it. It's just going to be other stuff. I may not, I won't even go look. It's not like I'm intentionally digging through you. It's just, how you glean information off of people. I'm sure you guys do that. I know some of the people that come to my sessions glean information. They just meet someone and they get a download of information right then. Do you guys experience that on any level? Okay.
What?
Oh no, I was gonna say, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I was just agreeing again. Yeah, I definitely get that for meeting people.
Sure. So then you think about it, once we get to a certain frequency, it doesn't matter any longer. You don't have to hide anything because you're being your authentic self. It's like, we all have known liars in our lives. You lie about something and then you're like, oh, now I have to perpetuate it. And some people get in that trap where they're constantly lying. And think about the stress they put themselves through, because they're like, oh my God, what did I say to Darren last time? What did I say about this? Oh yeah, my yachts, my 15 yachts. I need to make sure I talk about my 15 yachts. That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're living in your authenticity, no one cares. No one cares. You don't have to put on any song and dance for people to be around you, because when you're when you're living and walking in your authentic energy, people can tell. People can feel it. Yeah. So
much more than ever, I feel like, and I also feel like we're moving into that heart-centeredness, and coming from the heart, and just, I agree. Back in the day, I think that when I used to talk with certain people, I used to get this feeling. I don't know how. I'd like to hear your guys' feedbacks on both of you, because I remember just someone would introduce me to someone, and then it would feel like you're speaking to a wall, kind of thing. Like you'd have that energy, and there would be nothing there, and it would and then I can come to Eric, and we have a conversation back and forth, and it doesn't feel like those types of energy. So yeah, I always was recognizing that, but I feel like now it's going to be more than ever, because of just the way we're heading, in the direction we're heading, I'm excited, man. I say it all the time. I will continue to say it. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see how this unfolds with both of you, and just where humanity is headed, just in the things that are being uncovered with the FBI and all these different, whatever system or organization.
I do have a question for both of you. I've seen in my travels, and I have a very good relationship with somebody that's way up on all the conspiracy stuff. Okay. And that being said, even in the UFO community, I'm a former ufologist or amateur trainee, MUFON trainee, and I don't claim to have any vast knowledge. Yes, I've had a sighting or 4, and I've had a few. And the thing is that in those communities, some say that when disclosure happens, 3 to 5% of the society around the globe are going to go nuts. They won't be able to comprehend it. They'll have that cognitive dissonance. Is that the correct word? They'll have it. They just cannot compute. And if you look at that in a sense, maybe those people that cannot compute, we look at it in some of my other circles and some other groups I'm involved in is that 3 to 5% or 4 to 6%, whatever number you put on it, also help you bring in the light. You see, because we're still in that duality, but we're moving into the light. We're moving into that singularity. All right. And moving out of that duality. And you still have to have some of it remain to help push everyone through. And I know some of the love and light crowd, and I'm this way, it's somewhat say, no, everybody is redeemable and everyone's going to go into the light. Okay, well, that's their opinion. My opinion just happens to be different because I think the darkness in those people that walk around, that 3 to 5%, like some people refer to them as NPCs, so on and so forth. It's not that they're unredeemable or not worth redeeming. It's that they're serving their function. They're serving the function. They love us enough. They love our souls, the collective souls enough to come in and perform that role for us to ascend. And I think it's amazing. And I think it's great to show gratitude for everyone that is not necessarily on, walk in lockstep with us. So you think about it in the big picture. I always look at the medicine and everything. Look at the medicine. What's the medicine? And every time it's just like with this list that's supposed to come out, look at the medicine that's going to result from that. We're going to have justice, first truth, then justice. And then, not that I'm really screaming for justice so much as I don't really need that, even though I know plenty of people that do, because that's going to help them resolve things that they're dealing with or they've been watching for so many years. And then you have that step. Think about the medicine. Once all this stuff settles, the justice has happened, think about what's going to happen to the vibrational frequency of our planet as more and more people are freed from the 9 to 5, freed from this lack of knowledge. And we start having the truth flow. It's going to be amazing. Absolutely. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about the future of our planet.
Oh yeah, no, same. And I was going to bring this up earlier, but to the one of the earlier questions about, hi buddy, sorry. My rabbit. But
so when you go down a rabbit hole, it's literal.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. He doesn't like me talking all the time, so that's fine. But no, I was going to bring up earlier that when 2020 hit and the pandemic was happening and all that, it was a very quick transition to go from life like normal to literally everybody accepting that we're kind of just staying home for an indeterminate amount of time. And it was literally days, if not like a week max, where the week prior you were going about your day like normal. And then literally the next week you were just staying at home for many people, obviously not everybody. But a ton of people just learned to deal with staying home and dealing with that life. And it took some adjustments over the course of months. And then there was all the cabin fever and everything else that hit. But people are very, not malleable, but people are very much more able to adjust to their environments or to what's happening in the world around them than I think a lot of, especially movies, give them credit for. There's all the crowd screaming and the looting and all that stuff that happens in movies. And granted, some of that will almost certainly happen, but for the most part, what actually happens in great crises where you have hurricanes or tornadoes or big events, big natural disasters and events like that, is the community comes out and you have all the people that start cooking for each other. You have the people that, Bob's house got blown out. So let's work on housing him for now. We can, once FEMA and other stuff starts rolling in, we can help him build back and whatnot. But the communities, people find their community, and all the people that live through those events state that they've never felt greater levels of community and more connectedness than when those events happen. So whenever happens in the future or whatever it is, I think it's going to be almost like flipping a switch where people are going to just go back into their natural tendencies of just being open, sharing, like working with each other. But it all depends on what happens and what those events are.
Well, I like to look at the world through rose-colored glasses. And someone might say, "Well, you look at the world through rose-colored glasses." I'm like, "Well, hell yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Why do I want to look at them through my actual glasses? Yeah, I'm going to put a bit of tint to it and make it a better place. Heck yeah." So I don't see any problem. I don't see any problem with looking at it a certain way, because it's like when you speak about yourself, it's so important. So it's very important to speak positively about yourself, because who's going to believe the first words you say out of your mouth? You are. So, but getting back around, I think it's I think it I think we're on the cusp when it comes down to it. We're right there. And yeah, more challenges, a more challenging week. And I like to look at it like this: is that our cup is never empty. Our cup just continually gets larger, and sometimes it gets really large. Sometimes I don't have a coffee cup with me, but sometimes it doubles in size over the matter of a couple days, and that can make us fill off or have the why bothers or doubt our path, or that's I had one of my friends who happens to be an active Christian gave me some really interesting stuff and said, this doesn't sound like exactly like an attack, but I even wrote it down. Sometimes it's the darkest before the dawn. And that really resonated with me. And I thought, well, that's cool. And that's another example of all the different modalities and different faiths and different paths that are leading to the same place. And I like that little tie-in, because here I got something of value from someone that I regard very highly, and I got that nugget from them from a faith that I'm not part of. You see, and I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
So they're out there. They're out there. Those nuggets are out there.
Yeah. No, I was just going to mention, I don't know if either of you are into like Dungeons and Dragons at all.
No, I don't know what having an 18 over 100 strength means. No idea.
Okay. But you mentioning the like cup getting bigger and whatnot just reminded me of there's a like another D&D podcast out there, but one of the folks, they were all on different Zoom cameras, and the guy started out drinking like water out of like a little shot glass, and every time it came back to he went to go for a sip of water, he'd have like the shot glass would now be a cup of coffee, and then it'd be like a thermos, and then by the end of like whatever stream or whatever they were doing, he was drinking out of like one of those giant like water like office water jugs.
Like a water cooler jug?
Yeah, there we go. Water cooler jug. It was just funny seeing the progression over the clip of like just like a little shot glass, and then by the end he was chugging out of a giant water cooler, and nobody really noticed.
Oh, so it was like a test to see if they noticed that his cup was getting larger and larger.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's what your comment just reminded me of, is just like I guess like we may not even realize like when our cups grow until we're faced with whatever situation where a water cooler is more useful than a shot glass.
Yeah, the I think it comes down to as well. It comes down to sometimes think about it. Think about stuff that happened this week or maybe even today, and think about how that could have been a derailer to you 4 years ago. I don't know how long have you been on the path, Eric?
I guess it depends. I'd say 2021.
Okay.
So only a couple of years, relatively.
Yeah, but still, see, in my mind, being on the path is more important than how long, because some people drink from a fire hose on it, and other people trickle down, and some people spend their entire lives in esoteric study. And I know a few of those people that have this absolutely phenomenal amount of knowledge on how to do stuff. And I'm like blown away every time I interact with them. And I haven't been on it that long either. Well, just I had things trickle into me, like signs trickle into me throughout my entire life. And then I think it was January of 2016 is whenever I took the big. That's when it started. That was my first. What was it, March of 2016? Yeah, I had my first experience with energy, and I just happened to be in Sedona at the time. It was beautiful, beautiful. But I'm
Well,
sorry. Go
no, I
ahead.
was going to add to what you were saying because I wanted to know what, like, both of you, like Eric said, you said 2016 and he said 2021. Were you like not? Were you quote unquote asleep before that, or you were awake to what was going on, or is that when you actually woke up? Like both of you, like Eric, go ahead if you can just tell us like a briefing, like what was it, and then you, Victor, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, Eric.
Sure, yeah. So I'd say uh, I was getting there from about 2017 or so. So like 2017, lots of stuff happened, but that's when I really started like researching and looking into. For me, everything stemmed from the study of propaganda. So I spent years researching and learning about propaganda, and really love the study. It's really fascinating. But part of that, then, like, I kept trying to dive further and further into the question of like, why does propaganda work? What is it? All that, and I never really got kind of the textbooks never really obviously gave that answer to me. So eventually I got searching like, okay, so propaganda works, but obviously it works for people and it goes through consciousness. So like what I got into that question of what is consciousness.
Mm.
And that was really what led me to there's a great there's incredible research by Sir Roger Penrose and Dr. Stuart Hameroff. So Sir Roger Penrose is a Nobel Prize winning theoretical physicist who he helped Stephen Hawking on his work in black holes. He's also the physicist who came out and has the Nobel Prize for showing that the Big Bang was not the like first event. Like there were previous universes before this universe, and the Big Bang was like a simultaneous like end of the last universe and beginning of this universe. Stuart Hameroff is just a really celebrated anesthesiologist. And so from there, their studies, their research into consciousness coming from the quantum field effects within our brains, within our cells, all of that. I watched their explanation of their research and their theory, and then I was on a work trip, and I just remember all of it hitting me at once. And I was in the middle of the airport, and I was just staring at everybody like, guys, like, how can people just be walking around like going about their days like this? Like I saw the connection instantly between like angels, demons, like ghosts, like the field forces, like everything. Like it was that like awakening experience.
The
And it
moment,
was
the moment of clarity.
exactly, yeah. And I was in the middle of the airport, and I was like why, like what the fuck is going on, guys? Like how can you just like, how does nobody else like know this? Like yeah.
Preach it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, all that it started really like 2016 when I started looking. And then like 2021 was when that actually, like, I saw their presentation, and then like everything just connected. So,
Wow. So
yeah.
you did drink from a fire hose in a sense, because
Yes.
it all converged at once. I got mine a little bit in a trickle
Okay.
until that experience in 2016, and I just left corporate from being corporate for 20 years, and then I was looking for more because I needed to get something that was more than just money, just more than. And I was with a very good company, had a great job, everything, and had to make a decision. And I made the decision to leave or move. So I decided to leave instead of move away to Alaska, which would be
Oh,
a great
wow.
place, but
Okay.
still, that would take me away
Yeah.
from my kids, of course, and I didn't want that. And the thing is that when I got on this path, man, I just started it's like I said, I was starving. And I mentioned that earlier. People are hungry. People are hungry for answers. People are hungry for something bigger than just buying those clothes or buying that car. People are looking deeper now. They are awakening to, hey, there's got to be more to life than just what I see on TV or what I see on social media. And it's a lot of social media has turned into the, hey, look at me, look how great my life is. Even though it's all curated. It's all, oh, today I'm going to go and eat these beautiful waffles at this cool diner right here. I'm going to film it all and film it in a certain way and put a certain hue on the video. Yeah, it's great from an artistic point of view, but really, is it true?
Mhm.
Is it
Yeah.
entertainment? Is it, hey, look at me, look how much better I am than you? Because really, it comes down to is energy. Our energy never lies, and when you have this experience with people, you need to dig in a little bit deeper. And I think people are starting to become more adept because we can all be, where we want to be. Meaning we're all in that path to ascension. We can all raise our vibrational frequency, unless you're just one of those 3 to 5% that just cannot do it. But it's achievable by everyone. Oh, I'm sorry, I completely got off my path story, but I just kept going. I changed the way I listen to music because it's like I had that big schism. I had to start looking, and I changed the way I started listening to music, started doing things in my environment, changed my environment to make it more comfortable. And I pushed off a lot of things. I got rid of vehicles. I got rid of motorcycles. I got rid of things that I was only doing out of ego. And I think some people skip that step. And it's important to see, well, what's that awesome motorcycle bring to me? Well, it makes me feel good when I ride it, but I've noticed that when I drive that certain sports car, that I felt a certain way, and it was feeding my ego, and so I got rid of it and just decided, no, I'm not going to do things just solely to feed my ego any longer. And it changed everything. It changed the way I lived, changed the way I would think about things, and it opened me up to even higher and higher steps. Yeah. How about you, Darren? How about
Oh,
your spiritual path?
Lord, I mean, like 7 years old.
Oh, wow. So you're one of those people that have been on it the whole time.
Yeah,
Wow.
I keep getting the age like 7 years old, and it's like then just got rocked more and more because of things that were happening in the medical system with my family. Like my grandfather was basically went in for surgery, and the doctor wanted to perform surgery at like 2 in the morning, and um, was what you could smell alcohol in his breath, but I was like a little kid, and literally ended up cutting my grandfather's the wrong organ, and he basically died. He's spitting blood. They had a hose down his throat, and he knew it. You know, he knew it after the fact that when he was in the bed with the hose down his throat, you could see the look in his eyes that he gave my father. Like the biggest mistake he made was going in there, and then my grandmother, and I was walking through the halls of hospice as a little kid, and my dad almost dying in the 90s. Like I caught him before he hit the tiles. All these things were like rocking me, and it was when I started to go. It was like I remember after being in the halls of hospice, I remember going home, and I remember um, being afraid to be in the bathroom with the lights off, because like um, I could sense the spirits around, and I was hearing voices, and I was told that it's like my nutrition that I'm not eating, like I need to eat less sugar or garlic.
Or demons.
Yeah, yeah, and so it was like constantly being suppressed, and then I constantly had anxiety and depression because I knew that I was different, and I knew that something wasn't right, because at that point already I saw that there was something wrong with the GOV systems and the systems all around. But yet I'm like 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years old. How am I gonna like be able to make a difference or change any of it? You know what I mean? When no one would even listen to me to begin with. And they thought I was crazy, and like, oh, you can't say that, you're going to be locked up with a straitjacket. It was all these different kinds of things. And then it led me to drugs and alcohol and porn and just pretty much everything, man. I went down every road because I had massive anxiety and depression, didn't know what to do with it because I was suppressing everything, you know?
Mhm.
And it was just literally me questioning everything from a little kid, saying, like, how is this even freaking possible that we're in a physical body and that there's a sun up in the sky? And, I was questioning all these things. And then I was told, stop questioning everything. Like, what do you,
Suppress you.
yeah, like you're questioning everything. Like, stop questioning things, And then I remember I watched a video of my dad, like old videos. Like, he passed away in 22. I think I've mentioned that before. And I watched a video, and I was like, I had to be like 8 years old or 9. I was little. I was really little. And he's videotaping all of us, and he's like, so I'm eating with my hands. And he's like, you're a grown adult. What are you doing eating with your hands? And like, I had this big smile on my face, and I knew it wasn't a bad intention because he had love for everybody. It was just like, this is what he was, taught. I mean, he was born in 1949. He was conditioned that way, But I remember him saying that to me, and all I wanted to do was be a little kid, and smile and laugh. And that's the start of it all. It just unraveled, but I understand that it happened for me because it was supposed to happen, the way it did. And has it been easy? Hell no. Like, now I humbly say that the kids now are so fortunate and lucky with the social media platforms, with stuff like we're bringing out. They're so fortunate because I had none of it, and you guys didn't either. But like, I was way back, and there was absolutely nothing, and nobody had a clue, and nobody. But I mean, my dad was awake young because of his cancer that rocked him in 1997. So he was awake, and I feel like, but then society was pulling him back into the oh, you got to work hard, you got to make a lot of money. That's how you prove your success. So he was getting pulled because he had a family, and in those days you couldn't really speak much like we can now, like more so, So yeah, my shit was 40. I would say like my real rocking was like 2017, and then 2020 again. I hit rock bottom twice. Health wise, like physically, really hit rock bottom. And 17 was by far the worst. But even before that, man, the things I went through, I don't even know how I'm still here with some of the stuff that happened to me.
That's very brave of you, though, as a soul in the big picture. Think about that. Think about it. You signed up for this experience, and that's a tough one. That's a tough one to get your head around. And I lost a dear friend. Lost my mom and on Thanksgiving Day, and lost a friend a couple months before that. And so, and it's like, it's that test. It's like, well, you signed up for this, so have the medicine. What's the medicine here? And
yeah,
and it's and it's like, well, you'll get that counter. Well, nobody is going to sign up for that. Well, who are you to say that no one's going to sign up to have a specific experience? Because that's what you signed up for. So you signed up for the whole enchilada, where I signed up for part of it, and Eric signed up for part of it, and half of our chat signed up for their various journeys.
Yep.
And that's amazing, man. You've been through you've got some cojones, spiritual cojones in that sense, because of signing up for such a freaking.
And like, I'll tell you what, man, the shit that they were putting out before, like for like anxiety and depression, and they have these big thick books, and they're like, yeah, just read this book and you'll figure out how to like, like, I'm like, what the F, man? Am I ever going to get through this? And you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about like my entire life having that, and just randomly driving to the mall and feeling massive anxiety, and not knowing why and where it came from, and all these different things. It's just like I felt like I was trapped. I felt like I was chained and like in a cage, like with seeing all the things. Like, I would walk around as a little kid and then as I got in my 18 and 19 and 20s, I was an anarchist. I turned into like an anarchist, wearing all black, into heavy metal and death metal, and and like
not punk. You didn't choose punk.
Yeah, no, that too, all of it.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, but like, I was just doing it to be accepted, like, and then I'd start smoking the weed and the government weed, and then doing the acid and the ecstasy and all this just to fit in,
Wow.
And yeah, I went down all the rabbit holes, man. Trust me, my soul wanted to experience everything, man. You know, and and yet, yeah, I didn't know if I'd ever come out of it, man. I didn't know, like, it's just like back then, like I saw visions of what we're seeing now
Hmm.
as a little kid, but never knowing how it was going to happen. You know, like the world coming together and community and love and oneness. I saw all these visions, but like not knowing when and how, and 20 years ago, you know what I mean? So
I do.
yeah, I don't. I talk about it, but I try not to like ruminate in it because I want to create what I want to create now, knowing that I can create my reality. I want to like imagine, envision humanity together and all the things that I want for my life versus like focusing on the shit that I went through. Granted, I know it helps people, and I try to do that as well. But yeah, it's
I
definitely
think,
it was a tough path, man. My whole family, I feel like, did, and why I was in the family I chose.
let's see, look at your past, though. I like to say that my past defines me. It does not, I mean, excuse me, it refines me. Jeez, it
Uh,
does not define me.
Yeah.
Jeez, my past refines me. It does not define me. And that's a great way, especially if someone's out there trying to reconcile something they did in the past. Is
mhm.
it refines you because you're not going to make that decision or that choice point. You're not going to do it again because you learned. So it's refining you. It's making you who you are today. We are the sum of all of our experiences, both deemed positive and negative throughout our entire lives. Right now, we are that sum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because and go ahead, Eric.
I was just gonna say, anytime like I've channeled or like done Reiki or other stuff, like the message that comes through is like the past provides context for where you're at now, or it provides context for why that energy was stuck in the way that it was.
Mm.
So exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I see it though now, but there was many, many moments and many times where you're like, oh man, like when am I going to see like a shift or progress or, you know? And then, but now like I look back and I'm like, okay, now I see why I went through all of this stuff to get to the point where I'm sitting here right now with you guys, which like 15 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I
Right.
had no confidence and no self-esteem. And I was like, would like look at the floor when I'm talking to somebody, um, especially being bullied through high school and middle school and beat up and all that stuff didn't help any either, but um, yeah, it's really interesting when you can look back and you can see the journey, but that's what the whole thing is about, man. What they keep saying, it's about the journey, it's about the interactions. It's like me and you guys sitting here talking. This is an experience. This is
Hmm.
part of the journey, like this is the middle of the book, the juiciness.
And well, consider the amount of darkness too. The darkness you were living in, the darkness we all three of us have gone through, and everyone I would say in
Yeah,
chat has
yes.
gone through and experienced this. I mean, guess what? You've got to take those dive. You have to take those trips down there. You have to take those. That's part of our journey. But
Hmm.
see, all that stuff is done is prepare us for the upside that we're
Hmm.
coming into now.
Hmm.
And I think it's once again, it comes back. It comes back. What's the medicine? I don't know. What's the medicine? Well, the medicine in that, and what I just said is, hey, you're the sum of where you are right now. That's the medicine. You have this amazing insight and amazing understanding and appreciation and gratitude, shall I say, for the things that you've experienced. And it took me a while to reconcile things, reconcile that person that I was when I was much younger. And now I think about it, it's kind of like it went through this flow of very dark, and then it got gray and gray and gray, and then it can't kind of came into the light.
Hmm.
And being in the light now as I've gotten older. So, and
Well,
I go
you
ahead.
know, I was just gonna say, um, I heard this woman. I'll send it to you both. I can't remember what the podcast. Maybe I might have sent it to Eric. But this by far was one of the best podcasts I heard yet, with this woman that channels 12 archangels. And she literally said that she was shown and told that we're moving out of fear Okay, and we've experienced fear enough in thousands of lifetimes.
Sure.
And now we're getting to the point where we've experienced it already and we don't need to experience it any longer. And now we're moving into love, which is the Aquarius age, which is the golden age of the new earth, the age of love, And so
Bring
now,
it.
yeah, we're now moving into where we don't need to experience fear anymore to expand or evolve or, we've experienced it long enough. And I can see that being the case. And I really deeply loved the way she explained it, the way she talked about it was so profound. And it made a lot of sense. And I'm like, this can't be right, man. Like none of this makes sense, like the amount of suffering that has been going on, it just never added up to me, I always questioned that too as well.
Yeah, that's a tough one to reconcile, the amount of suffering. However, you think about it though, is each person that suffers in a sense, all right? Because you think, well, why is a baby born into a war zone? That kind of thing. Is that where you're going with in your mind? Something like why, and then they have a very short life, or why are they born to be extracted medically before their birth, and once again, you have to come back around. We've probably all experienced things like that. To be, one of our lifetimes was experienced very briefly, and then boom, we come back and do another one. And it's because to give us that experience, because you think about, and the big soul level, think about it. If you're in your crystalline form, all right, we're going to go really high level here. You're in that form, and you take on this incarnation to come have experiences. So, and really what it comes down to is it's an experience, whether it's deemed positive or deemed negative. It's still an experience that you can't touch your hands in an energetic form. You can't make love. You can't have awesome meals. You can't run. You can't kiss. You can't breathe. You see? So it's an interesting way to look at it. And it's tough to get your brain around. But once you do, I think there's a level of freedom in there. Right there, because it moves your sight from here. Oh my God, that poor child that we've all been there. It doesn't mean I want people to come into this incarnation and suffer, by no means. But who am I to judge their experience? Who am I to put my earthly morals on someone else's experiences, that they signed up to have? Interesting little polynomial there to think about or consider. So, yeah. Well, gents, I had a hard break 8 minutes ago.
Gotcha. All good.
Darren, I think this is a wonderful idea, and I love this round circle. Yeah. And I think you need to go ahead and go buy that humongous table and put it in that room that you're in. And you can set it.
Somebody said that, man. Like, I feel like at some point, man, somebody said it on, maybe it was Dale who said it, or no, D-Man. He was like, I see one day you guys are all going to be sitting at the actual round table in person.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, I'm game. Just build awesome, build that table in Sedona.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely, man. That's one place. Yeah, I love it too, man. I love this just discussion with you guys, man. And it's so like calming and relaxing and just deep diving. And I love how we all connected our channels and people are coming in.
Oh yeah,
I love it. Chat's going. It's freaking awesome, man.
Like attracts like, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Did you want to add anything, Eric?
I was just gonna say, yeah, no, I mean, we're all here to support each other, each of us here, and then everybody, all of you in comments, and anybody else who ends up watching this or whatever becomes of this. So we're all here for each other, and it's gonna be a wild ride.
Yeah. This is like by far the most packed it's been since we've started this. There's like over 30 people in here,
Sweet.
Yeah, it's like it's like the most what I want to do is for you guys to like, if you can send me all your channels, and I'm sending like the actual videos, and you guys can post them on your channels. But I want to put all your information like below the videos, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just send me like all your at signs in like the group, and then I can add it, and then everybody can like follow everybody.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for setting this up, Darren, and good to see you again, Eric. And I look forward to our meeting next week.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm going to talk with you guys in the beginning of the week, and we'll figure out, you know, what is good, and we'll, you know, well, I know we'll figure it out. I hope everybody loved this, man. There's a lot of, I couldn't even keep up with all the comments, so I was trying.
Well, there's a pretty chatty group that came over from Truth.
I know.
They're freaking awesome.
I know. I loved it.
And I would highly recommend, if you guys have the time, to come and check it out. Tonight we'll be over there at 9. Wait, what time is it Eastern? It's the banter begins at 9:45.
I'll come to an earlier one, man. Like I'll come. I actually was on the one that. Well, you know, you saw me on the one the other day. I was on there when Luna was on.
Sunrise session, right? A couple days ago, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Pretty good too.
Yeah, so you met some of the crew already.
Yeah,
the Truth Waivers. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really freaking good. It was yeah, and I know Luna, I don't know if you got her messages, but she was wanting to reach out. Okay.
Yeah, she helped me with something that I didn't have in my description. It was very good because I didn't have a couple of my links in there, and so it was very helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, it was awesome, man. I love it. I'm really enjoying this, man, and we're getting to know each other more, and it's fire, man. Thank you guys so much.
Heck yeah. Thank you guys. Yeah. Thanks for setting this up.
Yeah.
And I'll see everyone else tonight at the sunset session.
Thank you, everybody who came by, man, from whoever from, you know, and definitely subscribe to all of our channels. Support everybody, man.
Heck yeah. Yeah. I'll get those links set up on my end as well.
I mean, I'll put them in all the video. And then yeah, I'll send you guys the video once it's ready, and you can upload it. The other ones are in the group. But thank you again, man. Yes, stay ready and Dale yourself, brother. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Eric and Victor.
Heck yeah. Well, love you all, and namaste, my friends.
Love you all too, man. See you soon.
Thank you. See you guys.